Let's see. Good morning, everyone. It's your caseworker over at Dreamers Together, Fikreta, and I will be on for about 30 to 40 minutes or so, and I will be answering any general AOS questions that you may have, okay? So please feel free to type in your question, and if it is just a general question about adjustment of status, I will be more than happy to answer. If it is a question pertaining directly to your case, which I'm not aware of, then I would again just give you general information on that as well. Okay, so I want to start with biometrics. I have seen some cases where, I don't want you to be alarmed because petitioners can also be issued a biometric appointment, okay? Um, I have also had clients that have also, in their case, the petitioner and the beneficiary have been issued biometrics appointments. So I don't want you to be alarmed if you are a petitioner and you were issued a biometrics appointment, okay? Again, keep in mind that as a petitioner, you are also filing, an application, okay? You are filing the I-130. So just please keep in mind that if you do indeed, as the petitioner, get an appointment for biometrics, you must attend that appointment, okay? Okay, now, for those of you that need help locating a civil surgeon designated by USCIS to conduct your medical, it's really easy, okay? You don't know where to go, you don't know how to access a civil surgeon or a list to schedule your appointment. What you're going to do as the beneficiary is you're going to hop onto the USCIS website. Up at the top on the right-hand side, you are going to click on resources, okay? Once you click on resources, it'll take you to a Dropbox. In that Dropbox, you can just literally click on find a doctor. Once you click on find a doctor, it takes you to the page where it will ask for your zip code. You input your zip code, and then a whole bunch of civil surgeons designated by USCIS to conduct your medical, a whole bunch of them will pop up in your area. You can call them, get quotes, um, you know, ask them how long, because each office varies, ask them how long your test would take if you were to conduct it at their office, the price, and remember, have your vaccine record with you. If you do not have a vaccine record or you cannot access it, don't be alarmed. The civil surgeon designated by USCIS to conduct your testing can still conduct your testing, okay? And give you the vaccines that are required for your medical. Also, I've seen a few questions about, well, I'm having issues with my USCIS online account, or my forms, they are not linked, or my case is not linked to my USCIS online account, and now I'm unable to view my case, whether it be your DACA, your AP, or your AOS, okay? Again, hop onto uscis.gov, scroll at the top somewhere on the right-hand side corner, and click on resources. Once you click on resources, a Dropbox will take you to, let's see, it will take you to, I believe, issues with your account. You click on that box that states something along the lines of issues with your account, and then you can take it from there, okay? So there are all types of resources on the USCIS website that can help you, whether the instructions I just gave you for locating a civil surgeon, or if you're having issues with your online account. Again, that resource box, it will help you up at the top on the right-hand corner. I mean, it will do you justice, to a lot of things that I see common. Okay, a lot of questions that I see common about how to, I'm having issues with my USCIS online account. I can't find a civil surgeon. That resource box, That will be your go-to, okay, for solutions to those problems. Interviews are still being conducted, okay? I have not had one marital case where the interview was waived under this new administration, okay? I have had, um, you know, child to parent cases where the child has petitioned for the parent. Those I've had a few of those waived and approved, but for marital cases, for marital AOS cases, I have not had any approved without an interview. Okay, so don't be alarmed because post interview they're getting approved. Okay, um, you want to prepare yourself for your interview. Okay, once you get that notice, read it through. If you have maybe any updated marital evidence, take it with you. Any updated example. You submitted your joint electricity bill with your packet. Well, now 6 months have gone by or 8 months have gone by. Take an updated bill with you. You can give the officer some more updated marital evidence. Just obviously notify him that you are handing him, you know, some updated marital evidence. If you file your AOS packet, and this is very important, okay? And you realize that you did have maybe an arrest or something in your past that you forgot to include in your packet. It depending on what it is, because again, you have an interview coming up, but you forgot to let them know that you have an arrest or you've been cited or you've been charged. You have to pay attention to those questions on the I-485. How you would deal with this is basically it depends on the arrest. Okay. If you have an arrest that you forgot to notate on the forms and to report on the forms, you know, definitely reach out to us for maybe a Q&A. Don't want to walk into that interview with, you know, an arrest on file, but you did not report it on the forms. And obviously, it depends on what that arrest was. Okay, sometimes it could be something that was, that you were not found guilty for and it was dismissed, or it was just maybe a traffic violation or something minor. Depending on what it is, you may or may not need, a legal representative with you. Okay. Again, depending what it is, because, minor infractions are traffic violations, um, you know, situations where maybe it was dismissed, those are different. But if it was maybe ever any criminal charges and you were found guilty of them, or you don't even have to be found guilty in the eyes of USCIS. You can be found guilty after the fact, okay? So again, please be careful how you proceed if you did indeed file an AOS packet and you forgot to report an arrest, or something in your past along that line. You just want to check, you know, and make sure that going to your interview, that arrest is not going to cause issues. Not that they all are, because sometimes, people are human. They do forget maybe something that happened as a minor. But again, depending what it is and depending on the outcome, okay? All right, so we have a question. All right, let's see here. Hi, Alex. Do you guys give help filling out the DACA renewal online? Yes, we do, Alex. We offer DACA renewal services as well. And the good news is we do assist in filing them online as well, okay? But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to book a consultation, because there are a series of questions that we ask during this consultation that helps us determine if we can take your case or not. And then we explain a little bit about the process and the fee to you, okay? And again, Alex, up at the top here, www.dreamerstogether.org. Hop in and you'll be able to scroll through the services that we provide, okay? Also, I'm sure that many of you are aware that as of October 28th, 2025, USCIS is no longer accepting any paper form of payment, such as money orders, bank checks. They are only accepting electronic filing fee, okay? meaning there are two forms associated with the electronic filing fees, okay? The G1650 that allows them to withdraw it straight from your bank, the G1650 ACH withdrawal, or the G1450 credit card transaction. Basically, they charge your credit card if you were to use that form. They do not accept anything else besides the G1650 ACH withdrawal or the G1450 credit card transactions as of October 28th, 2025. If you have maybe your packet was completed in July, August, or September, and now we are in February of 2026, if you have money orders in that packet, please remove them before you send that packet out. They will not accept it, they will reject it, and they will return your packet, okay? If they return your packet, there is definitely a chance that your packet can come back in pieces, your packet can come back whole, or you can be missing your medical, you can be missing those filing fees you had with it. Your packet can come back in bits and pieces, or you can even get just one part of your packet returned to you and the rest of it, who knows where it went or what happened to it. You know what I mean? It's very, very important for you to note that you cannot add anything else in terms of filing fees besides the ones that USCIS are currently accepting, which are the G1650 and the G1450. And again, I don't want you to assume, oh, my packet was completed in July or August. I'll be okay because of the time frame it was completed, and I'll just send it out with these, with my bank checks or my money orders. No, they're going to return it to you. You need to make sure that you have an ACH withdrawal form for each form, or if you choose to, a credit card transactions form, the G1650 or the G1450. And this all went into effect last year of October, okay? And it is still current. Another thing I want to touch base with is 765, okay? Permission, it basically gives you permission to work. It's an authorization for employment, okay? If you file that with your AOS packet, I just want to make you aware that it's taking a while for those to get adjudicated, okay? In some cases, 7 months or more. And right now, I have not had not one I-765 with my AOS packets approved. They're all still pending. I have had cases where the individual, their green card gets approved, but the I-765 authorization for employment, that is still pending. So what happens is once you get your green card, USCIS will adjudicate the I-765 permission to work. But they will terminate it. They will not refund your money because you now have a green card and the I-765 it no longer pertains to your case. What they will do is, because that I-765 is still pending and you've now got your green card, they'll just terminate it, okay? They will not refund your money. This is why Ellie and I stress that you are to renew your DACA on time. So this way, you have your, you have your ED card, your employment authorization document, you can work, there's no lapse in DACA, because even if you file for an employment authorization card with your AOS packet, you still need to renew DACA because DACA protects you from deportation, okay? So the I-765 employment authorization document with your AOS packet, that serves as a backup for the DACA recipients. That does not take the place of your current DACA employment authorization card. You are to still renew DACA because, again, DACA protects you from deportation, and you are to renew it until you get the green card in your hand. Scenarios where the I-765 employment authorization for employment card is needed. Usually, the scenarios are like B2 visa overstays that do not have DACA but have a legal entry, so they want to work. They should apply for that I-765 with their AOS packet. Or, like I said, anyone that is a candidate for AOS that does not have DACA or permission to work, they should apply for that employment authorization document with their AOS packet. But, obviously keep in mind that it is taking 7 months and more for that document to get adjudicated. And in most cases, individuals have their green cards first. So what happens in these cases is USCIS will not refund your money. They will just simply terminate that I-765 based on the fact that you did receive your green card, and they will not refund, okay? All right, let's go to another question here. Caesar, hello, Caesar. Hello, I want to start my AOS packet. What are some of the things I need to get ready before contacting y'all? I done AP. Okay, so before you book your consultation, I would strongly suggest a recollection of your past. If there are any, um, you know, arrests, try to get the paperwork from the courthouse in that jurisdiction. Okay, the disposition record. If you've had traffic violations or example tickets that have been over 500, try to get that disposition that they were paid in full as well. Because when you and I sit down, Caesar, and we have this consultation for AOS, I will be asking you, you know, thorough questions about your background, about any arrests, even parking tickets and speeding tickets. Have the paperwork with you if you've ever been arrested. Have the disposition paperwork with you. If you've had numerous tickets over 500 paid in full, also try to get that, paperwork as well. It will make your AOS consultation run a lot smoother. That way, I will let you know, based on the information you have provided me, email me over the paperwork so I can thoroughly review it and then give you a decision whether we can take your case or not. So, the biggest, I guess you could say, accomplishment you can do before filing for an AOS consultation is go get your disposition records of any arrests, any incidents, even if you were not, charged for them. Tickets that they were all paid, just to make sure you don't have anything outstanding, okay? Because again, when we conduct these AOS consultations, we ask and we double ask about any arrests or any traffic violations that maybe were over 500 or unpaid. So again, a little bit of homework for those of you that are going to schedule AOS consultation with us, like an arrest, cited, charge, whatever your case. Have the disposition paperwork with you, please. Email it over to us and we'll take a look, and it saves both our sides basically time, okay? All right. Hello. Hello, Mira. They sent me a letter requesting evidence for the I-865. You mean the I-864? Sponsor, but yesterday I received an appointment notification for biometrics from USCIS. Is that normal? Yes. That is actually very normal, okay? So basically, they sent you an RFE for that I-864 that was filed, and you have to obviously answer that RFE. Very, very important. Don't assume because I got my biometrics appointment the next day or the same day, they're voiding that RFE. No, they're basically letting you know that we've sent you an RFE. This is what we need from you. Please complete that RFE. Also, we're sending you a biometrics appointment. So instructions in this case would be complete the RFE response, okay, and attend your biometrics appointment. So you have two things to do here, okay? You have to respond to the RFE and you have to attend the biometrics appointment. That is normal. I have seen that happen with plenty of cases, okay? Hello, Oscar. Hello, I had my first appointment already with you guys. I didn't make a decision about hiring you guys, but I am now ready. How do I get in contact with the person I spoke with? Welcome aboard, Oscar. We're going to be excited. We're truly, truly going to be excited to work with you. What you can do is, you see there that there is a phone number here, 203-437-7566. You can call, and someone will be able to assist you. You just let them know which caseworker you had your consultation with, okay? Hello, Tanya. Hello, I have a pending I-45 since November 2024. Would it be a good idea to contact my senator? I-130 was approved on December 2nd, 2025. Thank you for your help. Okay, so you had a pending case since November of 2024, and now fast forward down to December 2025. That's when your I-130 was approved. All right, that is what, 3 months ago or so. So I would say there's really not much your senator can do right now because USCIS, their timelines are basically like 2 years or more. Okay. Um, your I-130 was just approved in December of 2025, so that's good. Give it a few more months. Hopefully, they will approve your I-485 as well. Okay. If you see that your case is nearing 2 years, then you may, reach out to USCIS, chat with Emma, and she'll connect you to a live agent, or call them at 1-800-375-5283, I believe. And you can file an inquiry online with them as well in the USCIS website as well. So you have a few options there. If you see you've gotten nowhere, you've hit the 2-year mark or more, then definitely contact your senator. But right now, you have to give yourself some more time because that I-130 would, even though you filed everything back in November or back in 2024, that I-130 was just approved in 2025. So you have to give you have to give yourself a little more time for them to adjudicate the I-485. Hi, Lizeth. Making an appointment this upcoming week for AOS packet review. I have everything prepared. What should I expect, or what is the process like, such as uploading files and such? There are also a few questions that I wasn't 100% on. Will I get assistance with them? Okay. So once you book your packet review, there are a set of instructions, okay? Um, you can email your whole packet over in the PDF format. Once you email your packet over, um, a caseworker will be assigned to your packet and will start basically reviewing your packet, matching up all the information to the evidence, working on your cover letter. Make sure you have that cover letter with your packet because, again, as your caseworker, if I am your caseworker, I am going to be looking at that cover letter, the forms, and all of the evidence and make sure all of the information adds up. If it does not, I will be making notes on those forms. This way, when we meet, we're going to review all the forms and all the notes. The notes are basically instructions, okay? On a few questions on the forms, please you know, do not hesitate to, write them down. This way, when we meet, you can ask and I will give you guidance on them. Also, when we meet again, we're going to go through the whole packet. I'm going to have basically notes on, everything that needs to be amended in the packet, okay? So we meet, well, no, first you would submit your packet in PDF format, and then I would review your whole packet, make notes on it. That way, when we meet, your packet's good with notes on it, and then I'll release it to you when our packet review is completed. Maggie, my husband's 40 credit statement from the SS website states that for 2024 he made 0, but that is not the case. We tried to get the tax transcripts, but they are also not showing up. He has someone who files them for him, but they are currently not responding. Will this affect his AOS? We have the whole packet complete, but this is the only thing stopping us from sending it over to USCIS. Okay. So you can try to go or call the Social Security office and let them know that there was an error, or you know what, whomever helped you and they're not responding, try. If you have, okay, if your spouse, the beneficiary has maybe, example, 12 years of work with authorization, then that 1 year with that $0 is not going to affect him. Okay. As long as the other 10 years have 4 credits per year. Okay. So go back and look at that SSA statement, and maybe your spouse has more than 10 years of work. If he does, then as long as those, years have 4 credits per year per 10 years, then that $0 year is not going to affect him. But he's got to have at least 10 years, where there is a figure in those boxes, an amount in those boxes that equal 4 credits per year. So if he has more than 10 years of work, then you can, as long as he has the 10 years and the 40 credits, that $0 is not going to affect him, but you need to thoroughly check the SSA statement to make sure. And if you need help, any further help, please book a Q&A with us. We'll be more than happy to help you check, okay? Okay, let's see here. Okay, Mara, I believe that you have a question again. So if I put a person as my sponsor, can it be changed to a different person or not? I need you to elaborate a little more on that question and clarify it. Are you trying to maybe get a joint sponsor? You can respond to the RFE with a joint sponsor if you needed a joint sponsor. Again, for me to give you a direct answer in your case, I would have to review the paperwork and the RFE as well, okay? And you may book a Q&A if you'd like, and send over that paperwork. We'll be more than happy to review it and meet at the Q&A and go through it. But you can, if you need a joint sponsor, if they are, it depends on what they're asking for in the RFE, okay, of the IA-64. If your petitioner did not make enough, they see that he did not make enough, then there are instructions in that RFE that state that you may obtain a joint sponsor, okay? You're welcome, Oscar. Nancy, how can I ask questions? My cousin wants to know whether he should turn himself in or self-deport. Um, we cannot give you guidance on that. We cannot give you any legal representation on that or guidance. What we can do to help you is send you, over to our Facebook group. We have a whole list of vetted attorneys in there that would be more than happy to help you, okay? So before your cousin makes a decision on what they want to do, please contact an attorney. We have a whole list in our AOS Facebook group of vetted attorneys that would be more than happy to help you, okay? Now is really not the time, you know, proceed um to proceed, you know, without legal representation in these issues, because um I say this because you want to be careful on what you decide to do. And that includes self-deporting, okay? Because I don't think it's as easy as they make it out to be, okay, in terms of returning. So please, before you have put your options on the table of turning yourself in or self-deporting or whatever your case is, please reach out to an attorney, okay? We have a whole list in our AOS Facebook group. They will be more than happy to assist you with any questions you have, okay? Please reach out to them. Okay, Mara, my sponsor is my brother because my son, which is the petitioner, didn't make enough to sponsor me. My brother tax transcripts, job letter, check stubs, and other info was sent. Not sure what was missing. They just said more evidence. Although in his tax transcripts didn't say his family size, dependents could be the case for why they requested more evidence. It could be the case, but again, the joint sponsor would send their tax return transcripts, and if They would also send their W-2s, especially if they're married. They would also send a job letter will do and current pay stubs. They also have to file an I-64 out, remember that. And they have to calculate their household correctly. If they don't, then that is definitely a trigger for an RFE. So it depends, Myra. That could be a trigger if they didn't calculate their household size correctly on that I-64, but their tax transcripts, example, say that they have 3 or 4 other dependents, but they don't count them on the I-64, then that will trigger an RFE. But it depends, again, every case is different. You're welcome, Lizeth. We're truly, listen, we're looking forward to it again. We're looking forward to, meeting with you, whether it be myself or my colleagues, but I just want to let you know that we do our best based on the information you provide us, okay? If you send me over a birth certificate with no, with the information blacked out, then I can't match, the information up. But I would ask you at our packet review, if you want to block out information, that's fine. At our packet review, please have the birth certificates, your EAD card, um, your spouse's information handy. Again, because these packet reviews have a limited time and we do work through them thoroughly, if you want to block that information out, that is solely up to you. I can't match it up when I'm doing my review, but when we meet, have it handy so that, as I'm reading through the review, you'll be able to match it up on your end because you chose not to send it over to me, okay? If you don't want to send over the evidence, that's fine, but have it ready so that when I'm asking you questions, you have it in your hand and you'll let me know if it's complete or not. Typically for packet reviews, I want the whole packet along with the cover letter and all the evidence so I can match everything up. That's not always the case with my reviews. If you choose not to submit it, then I cannot match it up. And that's solely up to you whether you want to submit it or not. But, we're definitely excited to have you, Lizeth. So go book that packet review. And again, it'll be myself or my colleague that will be reviewing your packet, thoroughly reviewing your packet. Nancy. Hello, Nancy. My cousin was pulled over and incarcerated because he had an unpaid ticket. However, he was able to post bond. He had a court hearing, but the lawyer just took his money and didn't show up, so he didn't go to his court hearing. So now he's wondering whether he should self-deport or turn himself in. He doesn't have his Mexican passport. He has 3 daughters who are U.S. citizens. Okay, if that was the case, just for an unpaid ticket, I would go to an attorney, okay? Go hop into our Facebook group and go to our list of vetted attorneys. Um, you know, if it was for an unpaid ticket, that doesn't sound like it's criminal. Maybe he can have a route to a green card if he has like his legal entry and he has no other criminal background. Maybe his U.S. citizen daughters can petition for him. Maybe there might be some kind of relief from deportation. So please, please, before you look at options of self-deporting or, turning yourself into USCIS, please look at your options because one of your options can be a path to a green card. So please contact an attorney before you make this decision, okay? You're welcome, Maggie. And let's see, Nancy. You're welcome, Nancy. All right, let's see. Carla. Hi, Carla. My spouse has half a salary tax return in 2024 and a full salary 25 because he graduated in 24. Would this be okay for him to sponsor me still? So by how you've stated this, he's basically had a part-time and then a full-time in 2025. It is not going to affect him petitioning you and filling out the I-64 as your sponsor. USCIS is going to want the most recent tax return transcripts, which are the 2025, but be careful. The deadline is in April. So please send that packet out before the deadline in April, because if you send that a packet out in April, please have those, I'm sorry, wait a minute. You did do your 2025 taxes, my apologies. So if your spouse has filed their last 3 years of taxes, and it doesn't matter if it was part-time or full-time, and he currently holds a job of 90K, that is fine. He can still sponsor you, okay? He's just going to include his 2025 taxes along with his W-2s and his recent pay stubs from his current job, at least 3 to 6 months, to show that he's actually going to make that 90K this year. And he can also include a letter from HR stating his time with the company, and his annual pay. So your spouse can sponsor you. It doesn't matter if he held a part-time job in the past. What matters is if he's filed taxes and how much he's going to currently make. Okay, Nancy. Okay, Nancy. So definitely hop on over to our Facebook, our AOS Facebook group, and you may ask that question and we'll be able to further assist you on getting that list. Okay. Again, whatever decision that your cousin wants to make, please make sure that they proceed with an attorney. Um, whatever decision he makes moving forward, I highly suggest that he maybe has a consultation with an attorney first. You're welcome, Maggie. You're welcome, Nancy. Well, I don't want you to worry about it because I see that I was going in and out a few times as well. If you are in our AOS Facebook group, you can watch our video in there as well, okay? And our videos are also on Facebook too. So if you are not able to catch me live right now, you can watch our video on Facebook as well. Okay. So, don't stress over if right now YouTube is not cooperating with you. Okay. Yvonne. Okay. So the golden question, um, is AP still even safe? Submitted mines in July, LMAO. If you guys have, you know, if you guys caught Attorney Cook's live earlier this week, then you would know that, you know, advanced parole is still safe. Okay. Um, the only the only negative with advanced parole right now is it's taking a while. It's taking anywhere from 11 months or more. Okay. Um, so you have to give yourself time. I had a case where the individual's advanced parole took 14 months. Well, no, I'm sorry. It was still pending at 14 months. I had a packet review where the individual's advanced parole was still pending at 14 months. So it is safe. It is safe for those of you that need that legal entry. We still encourage you complete your advanced parole. But just please keep in mind the advanced parole case. The advanced parole cases are taking 11 months or more. Oh, that's okay, Mara. I'm glad I was able to give you some guidance. Okay, no worries. And if you'd like to, if you'd like any further assistance, depending on what you needed, go into our Dreamers Together website, and we have all of our services there that you can book with us, and we'll be happy to further assist you. Veronica, my attorney said I didn't need an employment verification letter from my spouse, who is my sponsor. He mentioned last 3 subs would be sufficient. Would I get an RFE? You will not get an RFE. Okay. We typically do ask for the employment verification letter, especially in the beginning of the year in January. Okay. And we do this because we don't have enough pay stubs to prove your the year. Okay. I always say, if you can get the verification letter, great. If not, we're in March. Your spouse, the petitioner, should have plenty of pay stubs from his current job to show his current income for this year. If we're in January, I'd say definitely get one. But right now we're approaching March, so you should have enough pay stubs to prove to USCIS the petitioner's current income. So your attorney is not wrong. I mean, the last 3 stubs, depending on whether they are biweekly or weekly or monthly, they're weekly, put in more than 3 stubs. Mary Cruz, hi. When doing AOS, what document can we provide for a DUI that happened 20 years ago and can't find any record on the courts? What can we show that it was taken care of? You basically, it sounds like could have been expunged. So I would say proceed with an attorney because a DUI is something that can cause you issues with your AOS packet, okay? It can cause the beneficiary issues, okay? So if that record was expunged, definitely reach out to an attorney. Um, this is why we stress never to expunge any cases, even if they were taken care of, even if they were dismissed. Very, very important because if you submit your packet and even if you just submit a statement with your packet, they're going to RFU because they're going to want more evidence um, of what happened in that case, in that DUI case, okay? So in your case, I would definitely say that, to reach out to an attorney um, because of the fact that you need to, on the I-485, it does ask, have you ever been arrested, cited, or charged? And in this case, yeah. And that's when they're going to ask for the paperwork, to that DUI. And remember, you know, USCIS can, even if you are, not found guilty, you have to be careful in certain cases because in the eyes of USCIS, you can be found guilty after the fact, okay? After the fact that the crime was committed, maybe you did community service or whatever they gave you, and then now, um, you know, you want to be careful. An expungement, it doesn't, erase it. USCIS will see it right in front of them, okay? Your officer at your interview will see that DUI in front of them and will ask you questions and will want paperwork in regards to that DUI outcome. So definitely reach out to an attorney if you can't find any more. If you can't find any records, it sounds like it could have been expunged. You're welcome, Carla. Hello. I want to consult with your team. Someone please reach out to me. What you can do is call this number 203-437-7566, okay? Um, someone will be more than happy to assist you, okay? A few more questions. Let's see. My husband. Hey, hi, Jay. Is it Jay Plucky? I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. My husband has DACA and I am a U.S. citizen. He already did AP and now I would like to do AOS, but I am hesitant. He got DACA approved. However, he did leave the United States and came back while his documentation was in process. With that said, we've been trying to get the FOIA documentation and that has been unsuccessful. It's been over a year. It's been over a year. Um, if we proceed AOS and he can't recall if he got his fingerprints completed when he got caught at the border, but then he was able to get through. Okay. Again, this case, it pertains directly to your spouse. I would say, listen, it depends on when you requested the FOIA, because again, FOIAs are taking some time as well. Okay. If he got caught at the border, um, you know, and whatever the case was, and he came back or they let him through, you definitely want to get that FOIA and see what's on his file. You cannot, I would highly suggest you just don't proceed with AOS, okay? Once he has that FOIA, if you have requested the correct FOIA, you can reach out, we can review it. Did he submit a CBP and open FOIA or just a CBP? Because if he did that, you would also like him to submit an open FOIA where he can send in a card with his fingerprint, conduct that open FOIA to check if his fingerprints were ever taken and if whatever records are on file pertaining to those fingerprints. Oh, you're welcome, Greece. Welcome back as usual. Mari Cruz, yes, I believe it was expunged. Okay, so I kind of assumed that it did sound like it was expunged, so I would say definitely proceed with an attorney. Do not go to that interview with expunged records, especially of a DUI. Okay, especially of a DUI. They're going to want those records and they're going to want the outcome. And again, judging on what the outcome is, that's how they will proceed with your case. You're very welcome, Money Cruz. I wish you guys all the best of luck. I truly do. Um, okay, Yvonne, I have to go back. I need to recollect on your question. Let's see. The only last one I can see is okay, so Yvonne, I don't know what you're pertaining to, but if you're pertaining to the I-45, it asks, have you ever been arrested, cited, or charged? And if you answer yes to that question, you need to submit paperwork, which would be a disposition record of that arrest or that citation, um, or that charge. Okay. So if you say yes to that question, you have to submit the paperwork. You're very welcome. I'm sorry, I don't quite understand what you're referring to. Okay, great. Reaching out to our office now. Great. We'll be more than happy to assist you. Okay. Yvonne, do y'all help with AOS or should I just do it on my own? My case is straightforward. DACA since 2016, been in the US since I was 1. Never arrested, no record or nothing, just need to do AP. Thoughts? Again, I don't know your I have not conducted a consultation with you in regards to AOS, so I don't know your full background or I haven't checked any paperwork, but based on what you're just telling me now that it does sound like a straightforward case, but I cannot guarantee you that because I don't know. You can file your own packet if it's a pretty straightforward case and we can review it, or obviously you can submit it if you're pretty confident in how you filled it out. But I cannot guarantee the outcome of your case because I don't know, I don't know any facts about your case, but if it's just a straightforward case with no multiple entries, no criminal record, then it does sound like a good case. You do sound like a good candidate for AOS, but I can't say 100% that you are because I don't know, but based on what you're telling me, then it would make you a good candidate. And I also want you guys to be careful in terms of multiple entries. Sometimes, go back and, try to recollect because sometimes you may not know that you've had a multiple entry. So please be careful with those as well. Oh, okay. No, that's okay because I figured that it was, and that's why I clarified it on the I-45 or, if you're filing other forms under other um, categories, if it asks, have you ever been arrested or charged, and you answer yes, just to let you know, they're going to want paperwork. Okay. Yvonne, if you need AP, please get your AP completed. Do not submit that packet without your AP. You're going to run into an issue there if you do not have a legal entry. Okay. So obviously file for advanced parole and get your legal entry. If you are a DACA recipient, keep your DACA active. I also want to speak about incidents where, you have filed for advanced parole and your DACA is going to be expiring in 6 months. You're going to run into an issue, okay? What's going to happen is if you let 5 months go by and your DACA is going to expire, let's just say it expires in 6 months, but you let it go by and now your DACA is going to expire in a month, but you're getting the paperwork done for the renewal. DACA is taking anywhere from 5 months, 5 to 8 months, okay? So as a little piece of advice, just please make sure that your DACA renewal, make sure you renew it on time because what if your advanced parole document gets approved and your DACA is expiring soon? You don't want to travel with the expired DACA status, um, you're going to run into an issue there. So always make sure that you renew DACA ahead of time, ahead of its expiration, which can be a year in ahead. When it gets approved, your DACA hopefully will be approved by then, and you'll be good. Okay. You never want to run into an issue of having an approved advanced parole document, but your DACA is expiring soon, because what happens is when you renew it, it's going to take some time, and then you can't complete your AP because you've run into the issue of your um, DACA expiring or lapsing. All right, a few more and I have to go, guys. Let's see. Hello, Veronica. For the question, if you've ever been arrested, cited, or charged, does that include a traffic citation ticket? I got a ticket in 2019 for using the phone and a warning citation in 25 for speeding. It does include, especially under this administration, it does include it. So if you've gotten a speeding ticket or even a parking ticket, I would say answer yes and let them know. Example, my parking ticket was paid in full. If it is more than 500, you need to provide the proof that it was paid. If it was less than 500, you do not need to, provide proof. You would just let them know, if I've had multiple traffic citations for speeding or for parking. Each ticket was under 500 and paid in full. If the tickets were over 500 or there were any criminal charges, you have to provide the disposition record to those. All right. Even I know it's taking forever. I'm so sorry. Like I said, I have, you know, met with individuals where they've been sitting there at 14 months or more. You can definitely try to reach out to your state representative. Okay, definitely, you can try. All right, guys. That is all for today's live. We are going to be back on. Hopefully, my colleague Ellie and I will be together next week. Have your questions ready for us then. Um, Aside from that, please, don't speed. Have your seatbelts on. Have your DACA information on you, and please renew on time. And before you think about turning yourself into ICE, or you think about self-deporting, please reach out. You know, if you can't find an attorney or you don't know where to go or you're not comfortable, just please reach out to us and we'll be able to assist you in looking for an attorney. Okay. Just please keep that in mind before you make the decision to self-deport or turn yourself into ICE. You know, these are not easy decisions and they come with consequences. Okay. Think about your families before you make that decision. And that's why I would strongly advise you to, obtain an attorney, because you never know, you may have another option. Okay. Um, there is cancellation or removal for those of you that have been here 10 years or more. You have no criminal record. You may have that basis, but that has more information to it, which an attorney can help you determine if you qualify for cancellation or removal. Okay. So please keep it in mind to definitely reach out before you make that decision to self-deport or turn yourself into ICE. Okay. You never know what's sitting out on the table. You never know what option you may have. Let's see. All right, I have one more here that I may have missed, and then I will let you guys go, okay? Hello, Julie, Anna. Hi, good morning. Question. We have to submit my husband's I-751 removal conditions this month. There's a question about been arrested or detained. Is that question if he was before he got his conditional green card or after he got it? Okay, so before he got his conditional green card, when he filed for AOS, they asked him that question on AOS, okay, on the I-485. So he sort of already answered it with all the documentation. And if he got his conditional green card, that means that whatever the case was, they accepted the records, and he was eligible for a green card. If it happened after he got his conditional green card, you still have to report it. Okay, you have to report it with the disposition record, or depending on what the arrest is, you might need an attorney as well. If it was reported before he got his conditional green card, then you can, just make a little notation that, you know, um, he was arrested for so and so, but paperwork was submitted at the time of the initial filing for the green card. But again, it depends on what that arrest was as well, because I don't know what the arrest was. If it was submitted with the initial application, he moved on, he got his green card. If he received his conditional green card, you still need to report it, and they're going to want to see the disposition record. And judging on what that arrest is, you may or may not need to seek, a legal representative such as an attorney. So if it was before, hopefully he had already disclosed it on his initial green card application. If it was after, he now needs to disclose it on his I-751 and submit the disposition record to that arrest. And please keep in mind, depending on what that arrest is, you may or may not need an attorney, okay? Again, Juliana, even though he was 16, okay, thank you so much. He was not arrested, he was just detained. He was 16, it was before. Okay, so if he's already reported it, he was just detained, no charges were filed, he's already reported it, that's okay. Just make a note that he had already reported that with his initial green card filing. If it's something, again, something that happened after, you still have to report it with the disposition record and judging on what that is, okay? Sometimes you may forget to, you know, report things with the green card application with the initial filing. If you didn't report it, you definitely want to report it with the I-751. But again, judging on what it was, he may or may not need an attorney, okay? The paperwork needs to be reviewed. But if he did, report it with the time of the initial green card filing, then they already know of it. They already have the paperwork, okay? You're welcome, Juliana. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for, sending me your questions, okay? Have your questions ready for next week. I think it'll also help us if maybe in our Facebook group, you can give us some tips on what you guys want to talk about next week, what you guys have questions on, and we'll better prepare in answering those questions, okay? All right, everyone. You guys all be safe. Have yourself a great week and weekend as well. Bye.